Hello there, friends, and welcome back to another episode of the Hopeful Homeschooling Podcast. My name is Kelly Warner, and I am your host for today. I am so glad that you are here. All right, so we're going to dive right in. So, homeschool moms, as we know, we spend a ton of time planning lessons, tracking grades, organizing curriculum, and just educating our children in general, right? Very few of us, however, have harnessed the process of recording the steps that we take and tracking the journey. What do I mean by that? I mean journaling. Okay. And I am not talking like Dear Diary stuff that we all did back in high school. I'm talking about a process of journaling that brings clarity, encouragement, and can even relieve stress. It's going to help you track, organize, and oftentimes remember why you do what you do. Okay. Because believe it or not, friends, journaling matters for homeschool moms. Okay. And like I said, it helps us to track progress. It helps us to process the struggles that our family might be going through. It gives us an amazing place to record victories when they happen, because oftentimes we high five our kids and move on too quickly. And it reminds us to intentionally pray for our children. Because let's face it, homeschooling, it's emotional. It's a bit of a roller coaster. But when we take the time to journal, which I know some of us feel like we don't have time for that, we can gain perspective. We can reflect honestly and then help focus forward. And I know we talked a little bit about journaling last week when we were talking about ways to grow as a homeschool mom, but we didn't go deep enough. And that's why we're going to spend today's episode digging deep. Okay. Because oftentimes, as busy homeschool moms, we carry our stress in our heads, and it's not good up there. We ruminate, we make it bigger than it seems, and we don't let it go. Journaling, however, allows us to get all of this out of our head, put it on paper, and then figure out, do we need to do anything about it or do we need to move on? Now, if you're unaware, friend, there are 4 ways that journaling can help you as a homeschool mom. And if you've never done this before, it's going to seem a little weird. It's going to seem a little awkward. It's going to seem a little elementary, dare I say. But it's worth giving it a try, even if you just do it for 30 days. And I say that as someone who resisted journaling when I was first introduced to it. It just seemed so juvenile. But once I got in it, I could see the benefit, and I journal in all areas of my life now. I have multiple journals going at one time, all the time. And part of the fun, honestly, is picking up the journals, the journal covers, the whole 9 yards. But we're going to talk about 4 ways journaling is going to help you, and I will share some of my own stories as we go along. Okay. Because as I said, journaling can transform your homeschool. It can transform your mindset. It can transform your home. So the first thing journaling can help you do as a homeschooler is it can help you track your progress. You are able to see just how far you've come because you don't have to remember. You have got a notebook, and inside it, you have recorded milestones and breakthroughs. You've jotted down funny moments or just those silly things that kids say, right? You are learning to see your victories and do more than just high five or fist bump and move on. Moments later, you can, or months later, I should say, you can go back and read that and realize school's working. Right? I whispered that because I wanted you to pay attention. You will realize your homeschool is working, friend. Okay. That's one of the best reasons for journaling. Okay. I'm not talking about the binder you set up for your kids for your portfolio review. I'm not talking about scrapbooks and yearbooks for your children or to share with friends and family. I'm talking about private journals that are just for you to record, to jot down, to remember. Okay. And to be able to see that it is working. It's working so much better than you thought because left to our own devices, friends, we are negative people. Journaling tells us to pay attention to the positive as well as the negative. And sometimes it actually forces you to, depending on the prompt for the day. Number 2 in our list of reasons, of 4 reasons, I should say, of why I would love you to start journaling, is that you can solve your problems. With a journal, you can write down your frustrations rather than ruminating on them. And when you write them down, you can walk through them and you can find solutions. Maybe you think a curriculum is not working and you journal it and you realize it's not as bad as you thought. Or perhaps the scheduling conflict, you've spent some time working on it and you see how to fix it. Maybe you're just tired and burnt out, and just the process of writing it down makes you feel so much better. Recently I have shared that there was a time when our homeschooling season was so difficult and so stressful that I actually quit. And obviously we came back to it. And we're going to continue homeschooling, but I was burned out. I just didn't know it. I didn't know it. I didn't know the term. I didn't know it existed. And I didn't know how to process through it. But when we allow our thoughts to get out of our head and to be put down on paper, clarity is going to follow. And that's the purpose of journaling, is to be able to see through the problem, the issue, the struggle, and to start working through it. Now, number three on reasons why you should start journaling as a homeschool mom is it's going to help you relieve stress. Okay. Because I get it. Being home with our children full time, running a homeschool, running a home, running a family, managing all of the things that we manage, plus whatever volunteer opportunities or other commitments that we have, it's a lot. We carry a lot and we're emotional creatures. Journaling gives us an opportunity to process or to do something called a brain dump. Okay. It's a horrible expression, but it just allows you the freedom to say, I'm going to take everything in my head and I'm going to get it out. I'm going to write it down. It allows you to transition from just going, oh, I'm stressed, I'm frustrated, this won't happen or that won't happen, to transitioning into, but here's a good moment. Or maybe it wasn't so bad. Or perhaps you just dive right into a prayer. It also gives you an opportunity to have a moment of reflection as you close the pages and go, okay, maybe yesterday was a bad day. How can I make today better? And next thing you know, you're journaling perhaps while your kids are asleep and you're like, okay, yesterday was a horrible day. I'm going to set the tone for a new day. I'm going to be intentional about that. And maybe we're going to have, I don't know, maybe I'll make a box of brownies and we'll do a movie afternoon. Or perhaps we'll scrap the day because the sun is shining and we'll go outside and play. Homeschool or journaling as a homeschool mom, I should say, gives you 5 minutes of just peace and quiet that allows you to reset your mind and your mindset as you approach your family. And that you can't put a price tag on, friend. And then, of course, journaling, our last reason is it helps you to refocus your vision, right? Journaling can help you reconnect with your goals and your values, can help you reconnect with your calling as a homeschool parent, and it can even help you remember why you started homeschooling. And like I said before, as you go back through your journal, perhaps you're just in a season and you want to go back and see where you were maybe a month or 6 months or a year ago. And you start reading and you go, oh, I remember that. Or I forgot about that. Or I'm really glad that worked out. Or perhaps even say, oh, that wasn't that big of a deal. Okay. Journaling gives you a paper trail for processing, for going through, and for producing the change that you really need. So now that I've told you all the reasons why I think you should journal, I'm going to give you two really quick journaling tips so that you can keep this simple. Because the last thing you need is a laundry list of to-dos to add to your already busy to-do list. So, one, keep it simple. You do not need to focus on fancy notebooks or long entries, okay? It doesn't have to be complicated. You can go down to your local big box store, dollar store, order it online, whatever. Grab a simple journal, okay? And I like having fun and picking out fun ones, but I'm not spending a small fortune on big fancy journals. Now, if that's what you want to do, go for it, but you don't have to, okay? And tip number two, just set a timer for 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes. Write down whatever comes to mind. Okay. Remember, consistency matters more than length. Okay. And number three, if staring at a blank page is too much for you, or if you want to use your journaling process to really work through some things, use prompts because prompts are amazing when you don't know what to write. You'd be completely flabbergasted, especially if you've never journaled before, to see how powerful just a simple prompt can be to get you going. Now, I will tell you, like I said, if you want to buy fancier journals and pens and stickers and whatnot, go for it. Okay, it doesn't have to be, but you always have permission to own this and do it as you will. Number two, if you set that timer for 5 minutes and your pen is just going, you don't have to stop. Okay. And number three, you don't have to use prompts if you don't want to, but they are fun. All right, now I do have two resources that are going to help you in journaling if you need it. One, of course, we talked about last week. It's the Mom's Prayer Journal. Of course, we've got our Easter season coming up upon us, so lots of people are revamping their faith. But I do think that tracking your prayer life and tracking God's faithfulness as He answers your prayers is vital. Okay. So grab the prayer journal. And if you want, grab the child's ones too, because I think it's a great experience to teach our children how to journal their prayers, especially. And I'm also very excited to share with you um, free resource or a new resource, I should say, that is going to be free through the end of this week called the Homeschool Mom's Introduction to Journaling. Okay. It's a long name. It's not very pretty. I get it. But inside this journal packet, I am going to spell out these 5 reasons, right, that every homeschool mom should journal. And I'm going to include specific homeschool journaling prompts. These are the ones that I know work that are going to encourage you. Okay. This is free during launch week, so make sure you use the link below and grab it before April 4th. I had to look at my calendar over there. All right, friends, I want you to remember you're just like your homeschool will not be perfect, your journaling won't be either. Okay. But just like I encouraged you to start homeschooling so you could figure it out as you go, I'm going to encourage you to start journaling so you can also figure it out as you go. Even if all you manage is a few sentences a day, you are going to see how much peace, clarity, and encouragement you can get from journaling. Now, friends, I got to remind you that your homeschool story, it's worth writing down. Your homeschool is worth recording. It is worth remembering. Now, friend, if you are not already subscribed to the Hopeful Homeschool podcast, I would absolutely love it if you would just go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you are notified the next time we have an episode go live. And of course, if this episode was encouraging to you, would you be so kind as to share this with another homeschooler so that she too can be encouraged? Thank you so much if you agree to do both of those. And if not, no worries. I'll ask you on the next episode of the Hopeful Homeschooling podcast. For now, have a fantastic afternoon or evening or even day, depending on when you're watching this. And I will talk to you next week with our next episode. Bye for now.